Hey, welcome back everybody. We're going to share with you now a little tutorial on how the contact manager works. So right now we're on what we call the action lists, which is separating your social tasks and your call list. In order to get into the actual contact manager of a contact, you simply click on their name. So first of all, right off the top, we see that there's a social action that needs to be done. In this case, he's been added to the Facebook pre-prospecting series. So we can take that action from here. We're not going to right now because we're just trying to show you what the contact manager does. We can also see that they have not yet opted in to receive your email. So you do have the opportunity to resend that opt-in in order to create engagement. Up at the top, we can see up here, we've got the button to go to the action list. We can add a contact. We can see all of our contacts. We can go take a look at the notes statistics. So this gives you a listing of every note you typed in today and by a date range, and you can see how many smart credits you have left. So if we scroll down a bit, we can see the contact information. So we've got their name, their company, their title. An interesting thing about company is if you said the company was NetLeaders, you can actually start to join all of the contacts within a company together. So once you have two people in the same company, the system will actually join them together and you can take a list at all of the people from that company with this button here. So right now there isn't a whole bunch of NetLeaders, so it won't show it. But in the future, when we add another one to NetLeaders, we'd be able to see all of them with this button. We can also track their full name if we want to. So for some social networking platforms, a full name is better than a first name or a last name. We can see all the categories that they've been added into as a result of surveys or manually being added. We can assign them to a category. This will just bring up your category list. You're in control of this category list. You can turn categories on, off, add your own, 100% up to you how many you want to track. We can go further to actually collect their address details with the address tab. I'll just get centered. So we can go further to see the address details with the address tab. We can then go on to miscellaneous information as well as things like removing them permanently from getting emails. You can turn on holiday emails, so you can actually decide that you want to automatically send an anniversary email or a Christmas email, New Year's email. Pretty much all the emails that exist, these are already contents that are sort of greeting card type generic things that you can use, but you could of course customize them and add them yourself. And if you turn them on that particular date, it'll just automatically send them email without you thinking about it. So this is part of our miscellaneous tab. Now, let's say you have some custom fields of data that you want to collect that the system isn't catching for you. You can actually go in here and you can add your own custom fields. So you could say, I want to add a field that we're just going to give it a field number of 1. The field text is favorite sport. Now this isn't really an adequate field because you would actually handle this with probably with a category, but if you did want to go ahead, you could go ahead and you want the field type to be a radio button, a checkbox, a drop down list, or a text area. So if I say radio button, that just means they have to pick one of the others, or I have to pick one of the others. I can go into the attributes to set football, and as a Canadian we could add hockey and maybe swimming. So now we'd actually have the ability to go back to the contact and we could contribute the answer to this particular question that we've put into our custom data field. So if I now go take a look, we can see it says, great, what's this person's favorite sport? And I can pick from one of the 3. So you've got the ability to do that. Email activity, this is actually just showing you a list right now. There's been no emails go out with this person, but it's a list of every email that's gone out with this person. So you can always track what survey or what follow-up series they're in, what email they're on. So you always know what information they've had before you call them. And then, of course, you can also go in and see all of their survey questions and answers that they've done. So you can actually follow them through on a number of different angles, all through your contact manager. Your most common use of the contact manager will just be being in the contact manager. You make a phone call possibly, and what happens usually when you make a phone call, you get voicemail. So here you would not even have to write that you get voicemail. You can actually just click the button that says left a message, and you can automatically say I left a message and I want to follow up with them in a day, a week, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. So you're in control of when you're going to follow up with them, And the system will automatically send them an email that says, hey, tried to get you, left a message, and you'll be really encouraged to know that most people reply back to the email with, sorry, I was out, can we talk tomorrow at 1? And you've booked an appointment instead of playing telephone tag, because no one listens to voicemails anymore these days. So just a really super easy, handy function. You also can have access to a bunch of other pre-done emails. So if you got a bunch of answers that you're always getting and you want to be able to send an email that's specific to the objection or specific to the reason that you couldn't get a hold of them, you can actually customize all of these as well. So wrong number, you can actually say, hey, you had told me your number was this, it didn't work. I tried to get you, please send me an email, and it just allows you to clean up your data. You can click the button that says no contact, and you'll see that when you do this, it says no contact will set the priority to 10 and the follow-up to never. So this is when someone has finally said, look, stop bugging me, leave me alone. I know it happens. Anyhow, we have a button for that. You can delete the contact altogether, and then of course we can update the content. So let's say I talked to them and they said on holidays for 2 weeks. Then I can actually go ahead and update this. So I can update this and go to today's calls, or I can update this and go to all contacts. So this just keeps everything really easy. Scrolling down a little bit higher up, you can see that we've got the last contacted date. We've got the next follow-up date, so I can just set manually when I'm going to follow up them next. I'm going to follow up in 2 days. I can manually change their priority as I go. If I want to add them to Google Calendar, whatever I type in this field will actually then get added as an appointment to my Google Calendar based upon what next follow-up date I sent. So it's a really handy thing if you need to break out and turn it into an actual appointment. So this is probably a good overview of what happens in the Contact Manager. One last thing. You can actually subscribe them to any kind of an email series or follow-up series from here. And of course, you can change their contact methods. If you want to have more contact messages or you have a particular social media tool you're using that we're not tracking, you can actually add it yourself. So that concludes our quick tutorial on how to use the Contact Manager.